Hey everybody, welcome to the Round 8 Player Ratings video, proudly brought to you by Doinabit. It feels good. It feels good to be doing these player ratings after a win, after a good win, and after a solid few weeks. We are a third of the way through season 2022. It's unbelievable, and if you blink, you will miss it. On all fronts, you will miss the turnaround, you will miss the fact that the Blues have started to really put some solid performances together, and looks like we're building. So very exciting times, and I think for those of us who haven't seen much success, this is just, it's pure bliss right now, with hopefully more to come and a lot more challenging times to come ahead of us for sure. It's not always going to be this good. There are going to be losses, there are going to be disappointments along the way, but we're in for the ride, and that's what it's all about. Now, if you're new to the Play Ratings video, first of all, welcome to the Blue Abroad YouTube channel. What a pleasure to have you here. If you are returning, you know how this runs. I'm going to start the conversation about how everyone went, give them a score out of 10. Really, I just do things based on individuals. I don't look at what the next person did and compare Cripps' game to Fisher's game, for example. It's just that the individual and their circumstances, and then basically we'll have a bit of a chat about it in the comments. If you feel like any of these ratings should be higher or lower, please let me know. Now, I haven't watched the replay, so I feel like I'm going to be a little bit off just by virtue of the fact that I haven't watched the replay just yet. But I've got a busy day ahead of me, and I need to get this done. So let's get it done. You guys can help me out in the comments, and we'll go from there. We'll start as the team was named. We'll go Weeders, Young, and Newman. Weeders, it was a solid game. Really, really solid performance. I thought he got better as the game went on. Just seems to be our rock there, as what he is right now. He's really evolved into this leader. He's getting better at it. I can notice it for sure. He was just solid, taking strong marks. He took 7 of them. Used the ball well. Still has some room for improvement, I think, but overall I thought he was exceptional. So I gave him a 9 for his game. Lewis Young, geez. He has had a fortnight, hasn't he? Last week he was really solid, strong in the contest, showed the marking ability, the kicking ability. He went at 100% disposal efficiency last week. And have a guess what he went at this week. Yeah, I know. 100% again. He had the 14 touches. He had the 10 marks. He was strong. The kicking ability, again, it's just something I did not know he had in his arsenal, but he's tall, he's athletic, he's mobile, and, it was just this time last week where we were worried a little bit about the back line and what's happening, and McGovern's hurt, and Parks is hurt, and Oscar McDonald's hurt, but obviously Caleb Marchbank made his return via the VFL, so who knows? We can get Marchie fit and firing and up and about. We have another, layer there to our defensive scheme, and who knows if Marchie's playing and when he's playing, but it's just exciting. But more about Lewis Young. What an introduction to the Carlton Football Club. He's really endeared himself. He's playing with confidence, and it's great to see. So I gave him a 10. Loved it. Nui, thought he was better this week than last week. I think I made the comment last week that I've seen him impact games more when he has the footy, and I thought round 8 was a good example of that. I thought he impacted very well when he had the footy in his hand, had the 21 touches, 9 marks, mopped up, got in position, made some crucial plays in the scoring chains as well, and thought he was really good. So I gave him an 8. Sard, I also gave him an 8. He had the 14 touches, so a little lower on what we know he's capable of, but obviously with Sardi, it's not all about disposals. He defends well, attacks the contest well, does a lot right. He actually does almost everything right, but obviously just want to see him win the ball a bit more before I'm throwing out a 10 next to his name. I gave him an 8 for his game. Thought he was really, really good. Zach Williams, I gave him a 7. Yeah, the 16 touches and the 7 marks. He approached the contest, I think it was in the first half. It might have been in the second quarter. Could be wrong on that, but looked to really hurt himself. And I remember watching it as he approached the contest, and I'm not sure if someone maybe stepped on his foot or kicked his shin. I don't know exactly what it was, but he looked very, very sore and proppy. So the fact that he battled on with that was good to see. Didn't have as much impact as what I know he can have, especially by foot. And therefore, I gave him a 7 for his game, but obviously battled through the pain, and it was good to see. I just hope that he's okay and he's playing next week, because we'll need him against the Giants for sure. Doc didn't get enough love last night in the fan cams. He was outstanding. 30 touches, 10 marks. He went at 80% disposal efficiency, 455 metres gained, just led from the front back there. He was one of our better back six on the night. I thought he was, one of the best defenders on the night, and just always a pleasure to watch him play. It really is. I don't take it for granted. Every time, every second that he's on the field, it's just gratitude. So I gave him a 10 for his game. I loved what he did, love what he does, and yeah, feeling good about how he's going. Then we've got O'Brien, Cripps, and Noonsy. Lockie O'Brien, I thought he played very well, really well. I think, he and Noons seem to be, when we talk about selection and who's coming into the side, and when we talk about George Hewitt and Stocker and the like, and these guys who we know will come back in the side, I sense that O'Brien and Noons and these types are some of the first names that we think of when we think who's going to come out of the side, but I don't think you can drop either of them right now, to be honest. Thought Lockie was solid, worked hard, kicked the ball really well, and I thought we used him to the best of his ability. So I gave him an 8 for his game. Cripper, 10, mate. He's having a special season. He's fit, he's firing, he's leading, he's doing all the right things. It's so pleasing to see for him what he's been able to do in one pre-season, get his body right, obviously. He's battled over the last few years, and we weren't sure what was going on, the contract situation and other external factors that I just wasn't sure what was going on. And even, experienced campaigners like Lee Matthews, I think he made a comment last year about Cripps and how he's become a journeyman and, what's happened to him. I'll tell you what's happened to him, mate. He's just become the best player in the competition again. That's what's happened. He's a force. And we stand taller with him there. What I loved about him, and I spoke about this in the preseason, about him in the preview for his season, it was when he's at his best, he's tackling, 6 to 8 plus times a game, and he's handballing more than he's kicking. In this game, he's had the 26 handballs. So he's just looking to get other people in open space. I can already think of a couple of situations already where he just set up goals. I think the Jack Silvani one was a good example of that. He's just playing very well. He looks fresh. 2 goals as well. He's hitting the scoreboard, and I'm just pleased for him. It was tough to give, player of the game. I thought it was him and Charlie. I gave it to Charlie, but Cripps didn't do much wrong. He probably still gets the 3 votes on Brownlow night, and he gets the 10 for this game. So well done to him. Noonsy, I loved Noonsy's game. I loved his game. He's tough. He's really solid at the contest. He sticks tackles. And, for these wingmen who probably have more of a reputation normally of a winger who isn't so much of a contested player, I think Noons is every bit that. He just works hard. No fuss, job doer. You can't have too many of those in your side. He goes about it the right way. And like I said, seems to be one of those players that when we're talking about who's going to come out of the side, his name usually pops up in those first, 2 or 3 names. But I just think he was really solid. Hit the scoreboard as well. That always helps. And they got around him, and he plays with passion. And yeah, did very well. Gave him an 8. Then we got Fisher, Walsh, Jack Martin. Fish, I feel like I'm saying this every second week. I think that was his best game of the year. One of. Very close. Particularly over the last fortnight, he looks to be a lot more damaging. Looks to be a little bit more up the ground. Getting fitter. Getting more reps into the body. More continuity, and he's playing better because of it. He's growing. He's literally growing up before our eyes. I think he's having the best season so far that I've seen. This is the best I've seen him play over a stretch of time, and it's impactful because we're winning games. He's played well in the past in losing teams, in poor sides, but this is a good side that he's playing in now, and he's contributing very well, and he's damaging. 23 touches, 8 marks, 2 goals, 2. He went at 78% disposal efficiency. I think he's coming along nicely. So I gave him a 10 for his game. Sam Walsh, I gave him an 8 for his game. Just industrial, just doing the job. Nothing flashy. He's just getting the work done. He works hard. All the attributes about him and why we love him, it's all there to see. He's had the 26 touches, 7 marks, 4 tackles. He's just tracking nicely. He's just one of many that are tracking nicely. And it's good to be talking like this about him. So gave Walshy an 8. Jack Martin, didn't give him a rating. It was really disappointing. Just when he's starting to get some continuity, there's a breakdown. It is what it is. What do you do? And malasot. What can you do? It happens. And it just seems to be the story of Jack Martin up until this point. Something just happens and he just stops the momentum. But whatever, it's footy and it happens. This is a tough sport. It's the toughest sport to play in the world, I believe. So he's hurt himself. It was calf tightness. Hopefully they've gotten on top of it. Very similar to what they did with Patrick Cripps a few weeks back. Maybe he misses a week. Maybe he misses 2. We'll just see what happens with the injury report. And hopefully he's back sooner rather than later, because we need to get him playing, 10 games in a row just to get that continuity into his body and get him cherry ripe for hopefully a strong finals tilt. So I didn't give him a rating. Then we've got Curnow, Mccain, Owies, Charlie Curnow. Oh my God. He is becoming, and I said this in the review, I said this on the fan cams, before the season, I was hoping for 20 to 30 goals. And I was thinking that'll just get him up and about, first year back. And then next year we can start talking about whether he kicks on with it. But he's kicked 6 goals, 3. He had 7 shots on goal last week. He's had 9 shots on goal this week. He's playing out of his skin. He's getting better. The one-on-one contest work is now starting to show. He is building, and he's a scary prospect. And while everyone talks about Max King, Charlie Curnow just goes about his business. And let me just tell everyone this. There's only one person that I spoke to throughout all of preseason and whatnot who saw this coming, and that's the Pom. So kudos to the Pom. But he's kicked 25 goals in 8 games. We're a third of the way through. I think Pommy actually said he would kick 65 or 70 plus. So I'm going to find that clip and share it around this week. But he's going well. It's just pleasing to see. And he's another one similar to Doc, where you're just so grateful for them to be playing, let alone playing at their best. So well done to Charlie. He gets a 10. Harry, I gave him an 8. Solid, strong, dangerous. Had the 9 touches and the 3 goals with 2 behinds. Didn't take a mark, which I thought was interesting. I don't know. He obviously didn't take a mark. I thought he did, but he didn't. I gave him an 8 for his game. His goal in that ruck contest was very, very impressive. And he's getting better at the ruck contest in that forward line, I've noticed this season. Over the last few weeks, he's getting a little bit more comfortable with it, and he's throwing his weight around in a better way. So I like that. I like what we've got going on there, because Lewis Young's tall enough to take ruck contests in the back line if we need. Harry, definitely good enough to take him in the forward line. Cripps kind of does it as well at times, but I really, really did enjoy Harry's game. So I gave him an 8. Owies gave him a pass mark. It was a forwards day. They were taking marks. Charlie was taking marks, and it wasn't really a small forwards day. And it's just part of it. Sometimes it'll be the forwards, sometimes it'll be the small forwards, sometimes it'll be one of them, not the other. I felt like it was probably more of a Durden day than what it was an Owies day, but nonetheless, the work rate is always there, and that's what Owies and Durden bring to the table. Gave Owies a pass mark, gave him a 5, and I know he'll be better next week, and they're just playing their roles. That might even be a little harsh. Maybe I can bump him up to a 6. We'll see what you think. Then we've got De Koning, Kennedy, and Chera. So De Koning, I gave him an 8 for his game, and I thought he just contributed very well. He played very well. I think he's just building, and that's all it is for Tom. Just keep trending upwards, keep taking these challenges on. I thought he did. Riley O'Brien, I didn't think Riley O'Brien impacted the game anywhere near what he's capable of, and so that's why I want to give Tommy full credit. So I gave him an 8. Maybe that should be a 9. Yeah, I'm going to give Tommy a 9, because some of the ruck contests where he just jumped over the top, really impressive to see. So well done to him. That's 2 really solid games from Tommy, and the bumps will come along the way. I'm prepared for them. I'm patient about it, and he's just showing the second and third efforts and not giving up on contests, and he's just tracking nicely. So well done to him. Kennedy, I thought he was instrumental in the win. Just did the dirty, tough stuff. The George Hewitt game, dare I say. Really solid. Gave him a 9. Loved his game. Chera, the same. Gave him a 9. Thought it was a little bit better in this game than last week. A little bit more influential. 27 touches. He laid 7 tackles. He was a beast on the tackling front. So I gave him a 9 for his game. Then we get to the bench. We've got Jack Silvani, Jack Carroll, Corey Durden, and Jordan Boyd. Jack Silvani, I thought he started a little slow, very similar to last week. His first quarter, or maybe first first quarter, maybe a little bit through the second quarter, a little quiet, and then just gradually built into the game, provided an option around the ground, took a few marks, just relieved us. And he's starting to really get this attribute about him that just when he's near the ball, when the ball's in his hand, there's just a greater level of trust. I know that he's going to make the right decision. The footy IQ is there, and it's the best. His sauce. It's sauce. He's really looking good. He's really maturing, and it's a pleasure to watch the journey of Jack Silvani unfold. So I gave him an 8 for his game. Jack Carroll, what I loved about his game was that he started slowly, like really slowly. I'm not sure if he had a possession in the first quarter, but and sometimes with young players, like I remember Zach Fisher talking about it after his first few seasons. He used to talk about that early on, if he didn't have a quarter, he would sort of let it get to him, and he would end up not finding a way to get into the game. Whereas Jack Carroll, it's maturity beyond his years. He didn't start well, but he just worked his way into it, and before you knew it, just was in the right place at the right time. Ended up with 18 touches, just keeping himself in the side. That's really what it's all about for him right now, and he's doing a very good job. Second game, gave him an 8. Well done. Corey Durden, I gave him a 7. Like I said, yeah, the work rate's there. Didn't hit the scoreboard, which was a shame, but at the same time, I mean, you get... You're getting the goals from the forwards. It was Harry and Charlie that really took over. But no, Corey worked hard. I think the play that sums up Corey's game was the strong pack mark. I don't know if it was a pack mark, but it was a strong mark in defensive 50. And he works hard to provide an option there, and he just covers the ground really well. And, he's coming along. He'll get the reward on the scoreboard before you know it. But I thought he played relatively well and laid strong tackles and strong pressure. So I gave him a 7. Jordan Boyd, Jordan Boyd at times, when I've watched him this season, I sometimes feel like, he's just not up to the speed of the game at the time. I think that was the best performance I've seen from him. Just strong defensively, a real competitor, used the ball well, and just looked comfortable for the first time for the 4 quarters this season. That was really pleasing to see for him. So I gave him an 8. I thought he was good. And then there's Cottrell. Now, he came on as the sub. And I'll tell you what, Cottrell, he's incrementally better than last year. And it got me thinking, he is a guy that we know is just a workman. He's putting the hard work in behind the scenes. And yeah, he might not be a top draft pick and all of that. But in the long run, it's these types of players that make it. And, if you just give them patience and trust that they're putting the work in, in 3-4 seasons from now, I think Cottrell, he'll make it. I'm certain about it, because he's started to put a bit more body size on. He started to be stronger in the contest. He lays tackles a little bit better than what he used to. Still got room for improvement, for sure, but every time I watch him this year, I think, yeah, he's a little bit better than last year. And if we can be saying that every season for the next 3 or 4 pre-seasons, before you know it, he's going to be, dare I say it, one of the 22. I think he can really push himself up there. Got deficiencies, but he works at it and, just tries. So I like where he's coming. I feel like he's just kind of on the precipice. We'll have a few weeks in, he'll have a few weeks out, he'll be the sub. But if he just keeps building and just keeps getting incrementally better, the compound effect of that just means that he'll become a really polished player. So I'd like to see us deploy a bit more patience with him. I think he's coming along well and doing his thing. And, so I'll give him, it's hard. He played, 2.5, or he played a half. We'll give him a pass mark. How about that? On your Cotters. Well done. That's the play ratings. Let me know in the comments below what you think. If one of these ratings should be higher or lower, let me know which one. Let me know why. They're not official. They're just a discussion. And we're 6-2 in the top 4 after 8 rounds. It's been a good start to the season. We've got 2/3 of the season left. We've got a lot of work ahead, a lot of challenges coming up. I look forward to this week against the Giants over there, a place where we have not fared very well. Hopefully get a few more key players back and have a tilt at it and dare to dream. Is it going to be 7-2? I don't know. We'll see how we go. We'll chat to you soon. Enjoy yourselves. Enjoy the week. And go the Mighty Blues.